How are you guys doing? My name's Alan, going to be doing my video journal for JMC 560 now. We have two articles to go over. One is called Inclusive Storytelling by AP Stylebook, and the other one is called Objectivity in Sports Journalism by Sports Media Guy. So we're going to go ahead and start with the AP Stylebook, Inclusive Storytelling. And before I can go into any kind of detail in examples, let's just give an example of what inclusive storytelling is. So, inclusive storytelling, in essence, is a fundamental aspect of journalism that strives to ensure that the stories we tell reflect on the rich diversity of our world. Now, that's the definition of it. Going a little beyond, it goes beyond all the usual narratives and the stories, and it gives voices to those who have been overlooked and misrepresented into our world. And the reason why inclusive storytelling is important is that it helps readers who can see themselves as other people, and it fosters empathy and understanding across all these different communities and people that are not from their culture. And it enhances just the quality of our work because it goes off multiple stories rather than just one person. Now, the article goes into that storytelling goes beyond what's written on paper, written on the stories, and in a way, it's a process that kind of we need every aspect of journalism into there. So, from creating the ideas to writing to publication to the people reading it and feedback. All of those five aspects of journalism all go into inclusive storytelling because the story isn't over when you publish it. It's about how people perceive and give feedback, as well as thinking of an idea on the other end of, just trying to understand other people in diversity. Now, lastly on this is the traditional narratives. And the reason is that narratives have been shaped for a long time. The article goes into, technically the other article, the sports objectivity in sports journalism, goes into in the past, in like the 1920s, 30s, that a lot of these journalists and newsrooms were being controlled by one person or a group of people and not including the experiences of other people. And one of the experience, or should I say example, that's happened in my lifetime about this is the Washington Redskins logo, is what I thought of, and how they're the Washington Commanders now, but they used to be the Redskins for a very long time. Nobody thought there was a problem with it until the Native American community came in and said, hey, this is offensive towards us. The NFL and a lot of people, including feedback, agreed with what they said and have changed it to the Washington Commanders for the right reasons. And I think that it's one of a huge example of having the entire community behind a story rather than just having one person go no or yes. I went into the objectivity in sports journalism. Let me give a little background of the article. It's about pretty much a guy in New York named Smith who loved to write, what do they say here? Love poems to Joe DiMaggio. And they go into that journalists in the past are accused of using their bias and reporting on the issues that they deem important. What we've learned in the past week, and as we've done our schooling, is pretty much to take a step back and incorporate everyone else. While I'm sure Joe DiMaggio had bad games, I haven't done any research on this, but just from the top of my head, not everyone's perfect, and I'm sure this guy has written an article, or I should say love poems, about him and about the epicenter of his life. He says that he met a man in a bar and a restaurant, the legendary Manhattan bar called Toots Shores, and a man accused him of using his bias to write towards Joe DiMaggio, and it had changed his entire aspect for the rest of his life. Now, as we move towards the 2024, a lot of places prioritize positive coverage, and that's how they grow their subscription. A lot of news people put positive coverage out there. Now, when you get into political, a lot of political people put negative coverage out there just to show. There's kind of a balance that there has to be, or a neutral aspect. Take a step back and not be biased. My last kind of example is for the positive and negative, how journalism has to take a step back. Sports journalism has to take a step back and report, rather than report on what you want or your favorite person. Is that Denver and Minnesota just played. Minnesota beat Denver by the second most points in history. And would you either watch, if you're a Denver fan, would you watch Denver highlights, or would you watch maybe a highlight reel on the Denver accomplishments and look towards the future? There's two sides to every story. You could be biased on either side, but it's best in both articles to take a neutral step back, incorporate the views of everyone. Thank you.